welcome to Who Put This On, Season 7, Episode 52, where we watch Unsellable Houses, Season 4, Episode 1, and the buyers will say, oh, wow. Chris Lorenz.
I'm Brian, your project manager.
You can sit on a toilet. That is that pink? This is Noah Singer.
This is 30-year fixed rate max gauge.
Nice.
They didn't say anything about that in this show.
Yeah.
They talked about mortgages a lot.
Chris, stuff.
You still should have used that's not positive.
How?
Anyway, those are quotes from this week's show. Well, some of us quoted. But last week, we watched Outdaughtered, Season 2, Episode 4. And we put a poll on the X. And you guys voted a top third show. So if you thought... Tell us what you thought about this show on X.
No, tell us on Twitter.
No, it's X at whoputthison.x.
Get with the times, old man.
Yeah, it's X. Excrement at us. Anyway, what show did we watch?
Don't do that. You can excrement at Chris, to be specific.
That's the new word for a tweet, everyone, by the way. Yeah. New tweet word. Noah, what show did we watch this week?
Twin sisters Leslie Davis and Lindsay Lamb have a knack for helping desperate homeowners sell their lifeless homes. The sisters make necessary, impactful renovations that convert unlovable houses into diamonds in the rough. That is Unsellable Houses on HGTV.
Also available on HBO Max.
The one to watch for HBO.
I have a quick question. They describe the houses as lifeless in this description. That's a weird adjective, I think.
Yes. Lifeless homes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that they're like kind of dull, so it's like breathing new life into it. I think it's apt.
There are definitely unsellable homes that have a lot of life in them, just shitty taste life.
I mean, maybe like a lot of rodents and stuff. That's a lot of life.
Would a lifeless home be like a crack den or like an abandoned home? Like, I think if somebody's living in the house, I feel like it's got life in it.
I think it means it don't got pop, right? It don't got a narrative.
But they use the word lifeless.
That's in the description from HGTV, correct?
I know. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the show's kind of... it's not really about Unsellable House. It's about getting more money out of a house by doing some renovations and then selling it for more.
Yeah.
Like this house was very sellable.
And on that topic, I think we chose a really interesting episode.
How come?
We'll get there.
Oh.
But for starters, it's a market we're all kind of familiar with, although I get the feeling they're always here.
Yes, they're based in... So, I'll just set the groundwork here. So they are a like design / real estate agency based in Snohomish, which is a like outer suburb of Seattle for our listeners, like about 45 minutes ish outside of Seattle. And so, yes, the show and their properties is in and around primarily Snohomish. And so they mentioned like in the show, like, oh, we're going to Shoreline. Oh man, big city time. You know, it's a little bit outside their main area.
And where is Shoreline?
For Shoreline, yeah. So Shoreline is a suburb north of Seattle, but still considered within Seattle city limits.
So it's like the first suburb north of Seattle. But
at a certain point, they're
it's not really a suburb.
Technically not, but when you're driving around there, like they're all houses, right? There's going to be maybe some apartment buildings, you know, but you could be tricked in saying this is a suburb.
I mean, all of Seattle, most of Seattle is all just single family housing. So I don't get that comment, but yeah. So we got these two people, Lindsay Lamb and Leslie Davis. They're sisters. And they own this company. What's the company called? You just said it.
Lamb & Co.
Lamb & Co. Makes sense.
Now, why is it called Lamb and Lamb? Like,
because they're women and our patriarchy, they have to change their name. So
But no,
essentially, their business is to take your house, invest a little bit of money into it, and then sell it for more money than the little bit of money. I imagine their regular business is just like consultants, or do you think they actually put in the regular money when they're not on the show?
it's a mix. I went to their website. It's a mix. So they can do like not the real estate agent part of it, but they also have a real estate agency. So you pick and choose.
They do all of the above.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the show essentially is we get to see this house, this quote unquote unsellable house, which we'll talk about. And then they say, okay, you guys are obviously on the show, but do you want us to renovate the show? And they make this big deal about it. We're going to renovate. Like, obviously they're going to renovate it.
Yeah.
So they say what they're going to renovate. We get to see snippets of Reno. And then we get to see the end result of like, so you kind of get this like house hunter style show and a Reno show all in one. And you kind of get like the housing market that you get with the selling or like a housing, house hunters kind of show. Yep. So it, I think it itches a lot of all the boxes.
It covers a lot of bases.
Yeah. It scratches a lot of itches.
Brian, where's yours?
It itches a lot of scratches.
Exactly.
It itches a lot of itches for me.
Oh man.
There you go.
A lot of itching. Yeah, no, it's a fairly diverse real estate HGTV show, like relatively.
Diverse. I'm not sure diverse is the word you're looking for. I think you're looking for itches. You're a lot of itches.
It does itch a lot of itch for sure. It depends how you want to eat the tomato, right?
I prefer catsup, to be honest.
Catsup.
Sorry, catsup?
Catsup. Ketchup or catsup? Never heard that.
I'm familiar with it. I don't know anybody who actually says catsup unironically.
That's because we don't associate with those.
That's why I said it ironically.
I got it.
It's Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns is the only one that is invested in catsup.
Okay. All right. So this house, they're trying to sell it for $850,000. It doesn't seem to be going well, but it's a 2,200 foot, 4-bed, 2-bath place in Shoreline with 2 garage doors and a somewhat finished basement. Brian, can you tell me what happened to their basement?
Well, a little critter of the feline variety got into the roof of it and kind of just
the ceiling. They got into the ceiling.
Oh yeah, the ceiling. Yeah, I guess.
And just
a basement roof is a ceiling.
Popped out all the like. What would you call? What are they called?
They're just garbage tiles. Like that's not a good thing to have in any house. Like it just feels very schoolroom.
So
it's like this
gross.
cheap roof.
Like the schoolhouse things. I wonder, like, did they destroy them? Why didn't they just put them back up? Because it looked pretty. Like this was the only reason I could see why this house was really unsellable.
I think if a cat's like doing that, those things are going to probably be like wrecked, like folded in half or something like that. It's like, well, why am I going to buy a bunch of new ones? Like, let's just redo the roof like I want to.
I'm selling the place. I'm out.
Everyone missed Brian doing this thing with his hand, but it was so funny. He did like the, feminine whoop.
I just imagine the cat just going step and then falling through and then going back up and doing more.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
So was this like a outdoor cat that's just like
no? I think
a homeless cat, or was it their cat?
It's their cat. They showed the cat in the show. I think.
Okay, I don't remember.
Very briefly, we got a view of the cat.
There should have been more cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would this show be better with more cat?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Or
That's
more of the project manager.
Pay attention, Chris.
So the people trying to sell the house are Garrett and Jenna. They have pretty much no personality, but I'm not really sure how much personality anyone can really have when you have like, there's probably a script in front of them and like they're just doing these pre-canned segments that. to set up whatever's going on, which is normal things. The only question I have for the show, okay, so this is their setup. So 850,000 is what they say the home is worth. So the consulting group here is they're going to invest $100,000 in, bring in their own crew, renovate the kitchen and the bathroom and the basement, and then sell it for $1 million. And then they're going to pocket the so once it sells for $1 million, the people will get their $850K, the consultants will get their $100K, and then they'll split the $50K in profit. So each one of them will get 25. This is the premise of the show. This is what's going on.
You're making the math way harder than it needs to be, but
I mean, that's what they say on the show. Anyway, they're going to split the 50K in profit.
Yes.
That is above the 850 plus the 100 that they're going to invest in the property.
Yep.
So do you think that it would make sense for this crew or HGTV or whomever to upfront and pay for the house and then just take the money later? Or who's really putting their money down on the line here? This 100K, if they only sell it for 850, who eats the 100K?
I would assume they do. They're taking the risk.
The sellers for sure.
No, not the.
Wait, what?
Well, no, in this show, it's Lamb & Co. Right? So basically, Lamb & Co. is saying, look, over the course of let's call it 3 months, I'm going to turn 100,000 to 125,000. Right? That's a good return. If you know your business, sure. Right? And so,
I mean, that's what they're attempting to do.
No, they're attempting for sure. But basically, they're saying, look, you as a seller, you have 800,000 invested. I'll put it in 100, right? And
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's risk though. They didn't make the 25K, but right. I'm saying that they could have even that might be the minimum they'll ever say out loud on this show is that they didn't make their money they were trying to make because right, they could have sold this house for 850. And I'm just trying to ask who lost money.
They're making 100% plus annual return. So at that type of rate of return,
we're not talking about the return, Noah.
I'm saying that high risk. It's going to be high risk at a high rate of return.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is who lost the money here. Because you can write this contract where the seller has to eat that 100K because this house only sold for essentially 750.
I just don't think it's going to be the sellers ever. Why would anybody take that deal?
Because they're told that they're going to make an extra 25.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying now, Chris. So okay, so it goes from 850 to $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's sold for $1 million. Lamb & Co. recoups their 100,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we walked away from it and we talked about that. Then each of them split the 50K profit. But in this episode, they sold it for $950, so there was no profit. But they could have easily sold this for less than that. Or maybe they would never have let it sell for that. But regardless, they could have sold it for $850. And then there's $100K that somebody has to lose here.
Yep, we'll never know. Anyway, moving on.
Yep.
Noah loves to move away when he's the one trying to engage in this conversation.
No, it's like Chocolate Rain. He moves away from the mic to breathe.
Yeah.
I very much needed to breathe, but I also thought that my part of the conversation was complete, and so I can get a cup of water.
Okay. Doesn't matter. We can move on. I'm just saying this is what I have to discuss in this episode. So we could talk about how apparently there's some controversy with this season. That apparently there was this guy named Jeff that was the guy that was doing the renovations.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be Jeff in season 1 and season 3, and everyone loved Jeff. And apparently this new guy named Owen, which we could talk about him, is he replaced Jeff. And there's some controversy here where Owen used to work for Jeff, but now Owen's the main guy on the show. So
was Jeff just tired of the shit? Ooh, is Jeff dead?
Is Jeff
asking the hard questions?
According to the online, he says that he's working on his company his Reno company, but like, I don't know. Doesn't make much sense.
But Chris,
He's sick of.
how'd you come across this dirt, this tea?
It's on the internets.
He
Like
searched.
where?
You Google it, and then it's like.
But how did you know how to Google
Unsellable
where is Jeff? Like, how did you come across
controversy.
Jeff?
Because I just Googled the show, and it's like really new, so you get like the real poppin' new stuff. Because like you get
No, are you upset he's jumping on the turf?
yeah.
A little bit, but I want to see his like. It's weird to come off this like niche controversy.
It's
so,
not
like-
niche. It's literally like it's huge on Reddit right now. They're like, "What happened to Jeff?"
Huge
like,
on Reddit. What do you? They don't even have their own subreddit. It seems to be
No, dude,
TV
subreddit. Where's Jeff?
Yeah, there's a "Where's Jeff" subreddit. You're not on that. It hit the front page.
Like the fact that there's not even a subreddit for this show means that it's niche by definition.
There's an HGTV subreddit, and they were talking about this show, so it can't be
Right.
that niche.
But no, it can't be a sub of a subreddit.
They were talking about it on the HGTV subreddit. I don't know what you want from me.
I want answers, Chris. I want answers on how you do your cornering.
All right, so I've got 8 fun, surprising facts about Leslie and Lindsay here. Number 1, they were discovered on the YouTubes. Their mom didn't know she was having twins.
No,
Surprise,
They don't
shock, surprise.
Look that twinsy.
no,
I'm sure they
not at all.
are.
Apparently, they are something called mirror twins. So
Fuck is that?
I had to read the paragraph here. So apparently, a mirror twin is somebody that like the right side on somebody on one twin looks like the left side on the other twin, and vice versa. So when you look at them, it's like looking in a mirror because you're kind of mirrored. I don't know how that works, and I definitely don't see it in these two people, but that's what they claim.
Okay, sounds like bullshit.
Nope.
Number 4, Leslie Davis is an early riser. Very
Whoa.
exciting.
Wow,
They're
really
both-
digging deep here.
They're both moms of boys and have 4 sons between the two of them. They're both dog lovers. I think they mentioned that a little bit. They prefer to shop locally, guys.
Hashtag twinning.
They have a soft spot for vintage Volkswagen cars, which we do get to see one in this episode. Max, what is this car?
It's a VW bus. Come on, everybody knows.
Named Ginger Baby.
Everybody knows. Give that
It's
so
iconic.
true woohoos. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I found on my internet cornering. This is how deep I'm going in the internet corner this week. Getting you those early risers.
So, should we talk about Owen? Should we talk
How
about
we-
the first time we encounter Owen?
Should we talk about the queer eyeing in this show in this episode?
Yeah,
Oh,
to endear us to their new contractor, Owen, they spend a full 5 minutes queer eyeing this poor contractor. Like, the moment we meet him, they're like, "You look like shit. Let's get you some socks, motherfucker."
Yeah, they like they trim his beard, and they give him like this awful outfit that had like double button downs. Like, I feel like they must have gone to one place in town that had the worst outfits.
And I started skipping through this the moment I realized this is what's happening, and I couldn't believe it kept going so long. Yeah, this definitely knocked down my rating of the show like significantly. Like, I was kind of neutral positive on it before this, and then this shit. Because all of these shows, even the car building ones, they suffer from the building phase just isn't that interesting.
It's
That's-
hard.
That's my
So they-
famous. That's our famous. So I think there's very distinct segments of the show. There's the showing the house segment of the show. It's like 5-10 minutes. Then there's the we're gonna renovate. This is what we're renovating, right? And then there's the showing the renovation, showing them doing the renovation, and then there's showing the final result, right? And we know that like step 3, showing the renovation, is always the hardest part to make interesting, and that's where like the Property Brothers, I think, do an amazing job because they're like fun and they make that part fun, and that's where you really rely on these hosts to like elevate, and I don't think they elevated this part of that show at all.
They didn't do shit.
And then for some reason, this also had a Queer Eye segment, which I don't know what to call that segment for this show, but a giant waste of time.
That was only added because they have nothing else to add.
I mean, there's so much renovation. Like this renovation, they say is $100K, which is complete bullshit. They fully renovate the kitchen. Like the kitchen is down to just walls.
Yep.
And they rebuild all the cabinets, get all new appliances, and they make like a custom wall as in the entryway and a custom, like so much custom shit. Like this is at least $250,000 renovation.
No,
that's just one part of it.
Like
they do a whole bathroom too.
Yeah. No, actually, I take it back. I was thinking of a different type of price. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like each one of those is $100K. Like the bathroom, probably not 100, but like
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much materials are right now, but like I can think about when I done my own remodeling. But the cost of materials and labor has gone up so much that I'm like, maybe it is.
It's pretty expensive. They save a lot of money because like the renovation studio gets an ad for being on the show, and like they're being on the show, they might have literally cost them $100,000, but not including like labor or whatever goes into the show, right? But it seemed kind of unrealistic, especially in this area where labor is pretty expensive.
Yeah. I don't know.
They did save some money.
Shocked. I was just shocked at like when you're like these people and you have to come into a house. You tell me to come to a house, okay? Spend X amount of money to make X amount of money, right? $100,000 is a lot of money to try to make up and above when they went to a comp house in this episode and it only sold for $785 or something, $790 or something, and you're trying to get 200,000+ more out of this house. Like,
right.
It's pretty rough. You got to really elevate this house, and I'm not sure they definitely didn't do it, but regardless, I think you would rather spend $10K to try to make that $25K, which would seem much more realistic to me for this kind of scenario.
Also, there were a couple of renovations they did that just didn't really seem worth it, like the weird custom wall in the entryway or the garage doors. Like, nobody's looking at houses like, damn, these garage doors are fucked.
Well, it might have been something they found in like an inspection or something, because they mentioned they were broken. The garage doors. What I didn't like was like the basement looked terrible. I thought whoever says wallpaper's coming back, you're wrong. Do not put fucking wallpaper.
Here is my notes on the downstairs. Oh my god, the downstairs is awful with the original brick surrounded by wallpaper.
It's so bad. The wallpaper is disgustingly ugly to me. It's like peacocks, but then like alternating peacocks, so it's like up and down, and like it's busy. And then the ceiling they painted black.
The ceiling I didn't hate compared to like
the ceiling was cool. That was very cool.
It wasn't just painted black. They had like wood slats making cool patterns on it.
Yeah, it wasn't just black, but they painted it black and then put some wood on top. Like I did not like if that was the only thing they did there, sure. Yeah. But like contrast to everything else they did there, I did not like.
It was really a weird fucking room. I don't know why they did that.
But that could also
come out very nice. I thought it was good.
You thought it looked good.
Yeah,
the basement.
I think they did a good job.
Okay. See, I think one of the things that I think elevates the show is like I was in here with VJ, which has been on the podcast before, and he could not stop talking about this house as they were doing stuff to this house. He was like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I like that. I don't like that." And it's like you really got the engagement from a certain amount of people for this show.
Certain amount of people.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily the engaged person for the show, but I think that the target for this is like people like me complaining about the basement, or and then we can argue with Noah about the basement because he likes the basement.
I mean, I've been in this literal market, and so it appealed to me. That's all I'll say.
The only other minutia I want to bring up is that they had this scene where they were like, "We're going to paint the door yellow because it'll make the house pop," and it did not. No one wanted this.
Oh my god,
But-
the yellow door was so bad.
But they showed a scene of them painting it, and then they show a scene later of a time lapse of them replacing the painted door.
Wait, really?
And I just thought that was hilarious.
I
It was
missed that.
yeah, it happens pretty quick. We had to rewind it, but somebody VJ noticed and was like, "Oh wait, what are you guys talking about?" We had to rewind it, and you could see like 4 paint lines because clearly they just painted the door, what like for a shot, and then somebody else was just going to go back and repaint it. But then they just replaced the door altogether with a different door.
That was wild.
Real winner.
And another VJ comment was, "You can't just paint a door; you got to sand the door so the paint will stick."
I mean, maybe? I don't know.
I'm just saying what VJ said, and then they didn't use that. They didn't paint it anyway. They just got a new one, and then they painted the new one yellow.
I'd ask VJ how many doors he's painted.
Go ahead, VJ. X at us. What is it called now? Is it post at us on X? What is it? I don't know.
Excrement.
Excrement at us.
Chris, VJ, when you come over, who cares if there's hand towels or not? Just excrement.
All right. Should we get to questions? Anyone have any other minutia? Who is the worst human being?
Wait, no. I got one minutia.
Minutia way.
So we touched on this, but I do wonder if there's ever people that are like, "Nah, I don't want to go with this proposal." Like this whole doing. And then like they actually go through like several people in the beginning to go, go quick. What do you think?
Sure. I mean, by the time you get to you're on the show though, you're not saying no. You've already signed contracts and all that.
But it's like why do the little show and dance? Like the audience knows what's up. They know what's up. Like who's benefiting from the song and dance here?
It's a way to waste time because otherwise you spend more time in the renovation phase.
I personally, I think there's a segment that wants to believe this is 100% correct, real. So like they want to believe like these people came to your house and then asked you, "Do you want to do this or not?" Like it's part of like the, you're living vicariously through these people, which is I think 95% of why people watch these shows is they could live. Oh, what if I lived in this house? What would I do? Or what did they do? And like, and part of that is like, would you want them to do this to this your house, quote unquote?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Because you just got to look at like it's part of the wish fulfillment, the fantasy.
I am very happy that I know what a yellow door looks like, so I never have to try it.
I don't even know if it was yellow. It looked greenish to me.
I will say this: it looked better than initially thought. It would still not satisfy me, but it was better than I thought.
I think they did a great remodel. Like, as someone again who's been the customer of this, like I can see how they would justify the higher price. Like, I get it. And I think you're getting your money's worth, right? Like, as we talked about, if they only raised it $100,000, like, yeah, that's good value.
I mean, they weren't selling the house at $850, so like, I think that they made out, regardless.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Everything but the basement was much better. Like the kitchen was way better. The old cabinets looked terrible. New cabinets look great. I don't know about that weird wall though. Yeah, I'm a hat guy.
Yeah.
I'm a weird hat guy. I have hats, but like, I don't know. I don't need my hats as a fixture of the entryway.
Yeah, I think that's going to be more for coats for sure. But like the farm door in the bathroom on the master bedroom, like I think it was done nice. It was done really well. So I think if you got this house for $950 in Shoreline, I think it's like a decent decent get, all things considered.
All right. Who is the worst human being?
Oh, actually, one last thing. The only bad thing about this house is the actual location of it. So I sent y'all the Redfin listing for the house.
It'll be in the show description, so you can
Yeah.
look at it.
We'll link to it. It's unfortunate they removed a lot of the photos from the listing in the 3D tour, which is weird. They usually keep it up there.
Oh, it's 2.5 baths.
Yeah, the only bad thing about this house, they make a big deal how it's on a cul-de-sac, but it's on a cul-de-sac, like a very small one off of a main street.
I think that's a lot of Shoreline. I know one person that lives in Shoreline, and it's very similar, where it's like a small cul-de-sac.
It's not. I mean, there are cul-de-sacs in Shoreline, but like not everyone's on a main street. So that's the only downside. Like you're definitely getting bus noise. Like they show there's bus stops nearby. On the positive, you're like 4 minutes from Costco, so that's pretty good.
4 minutes from a bus seems pretty good to me.
I mean, if you're taking the bus, it's good. But if you don't want to listen to the bus all day, it's not good.
You need a car in Shoreline.
Well, yeah, but you don't need to always use the car. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about my feelings on Shoreline and cul-de-sacs. We're going to go on to the worst human being, which I'm not sure there's a good candidate, but Max, you have a candidate.
Whoever decided on that yellow door.
Yep.
Or whoever decided on that wallpaper.
On the wallpaper.
There were like real estate agents that came to see the house. These two blonde people.
Were they prospective buyers or real estate agents?
I didn't catch it, who they were, but they just lacked a lot of personality. So let's make them the worst.
Okay. I don't really have a good candidate for this one, but I'm going to go whoever suggested this show. I mean, no, I don't know. I'm not going to go with anyone. Let's go. Would the show be better as a Quibi or a TikTok?
Yes.
Yep.
All you want to see on these shows is the before, maybe 1 minute of renovation, and the after. I want that before after pop.
I'm not sure. I feel like a 20-minute version of the show where you just remove all the reno stuff. Like you just kind of like magic it away. But I don't think it'd be better as a Quibi. It would have to be like part of the show would be a Quibi.
What does that mean?
Like the part of the show where you just look at a house, that could be a Quibi.
Oh, like it's an interactive Redfin.
Yeah. But like to have the look at the house, decide what you're going to renovate, and then show the final result, that's too long for a Quibi. For me personally. And I think it would be a terrible TikTok. Because I think like this would go by in like 2 seconds. Like I wouldn't give it any time of day on TikTok.
So then it wouldn't be better. Like
I'm saying it's not going to be better.
Okay.
You guys were the ones that said it'd be better. Mainly because you think the show is too long and you're like, obviously a shorter version would be better.
Yeah, I just really want to cut it down. I want to avoid the queer eyeing of our construction person because nobody wants that.
Yeah, the construction, they need a different personality on the show for sure. Maybe we should just watch some Property Brothers instead. God. The other big HGTV group. Let's do some drinking rules. Every time you see something ugly, take a drink.
Oh, I'm going to be real drunk.
Brian, you got a drinking rule for me?
Every time my boy Owen is on screen, take a drink.
Owen.
Are you just drinking while Owen's on the screen, or
no? Just when he shows up, because there's a lot of times he's not there.
Okay, Noah, you got a drinking rule for us?
Every time they bring on a contractor, take a quarter of a drink.
Max,
every time they sell a house for $50,000 less than they expected to, take a drink.
One drink in an episode.
I have a feeling there's going to be more houses.
I don't think so. I think it's one house per episode, guys.
Well, yeah, but like right now we're in current market. I think that this season is going to be a little more difficult than usual.
Yeah, sure. I know. I mean, like, sure, you'll have more than you might have lost 50,000 in the rest of the season, but like, Brian, I mean, Max is already drunk from the other one with the ugly comment. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's do. What do you love about this show, Brian? What do you love about this show?
It still gives good ideas for home renovation. They kind of dive into some cool stuff for that, so I enjoyed that.
Noah, what do you love about this show?
Yeah, I think the design advice for is pretty good. Like, yeah, I think that was very nice. So I'm gonna go with Brian.
Max, what do you love about this show?
I like that they included, they're probably fake, but prospective buyers doing a tour of the house, so you can get it's a YouTube reaction video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the showing of the house part of this. Like, I feel like that was what these two hosts were the best at. I think is showing this house, and I was pretty engaged. For me, that's pretty high for a house show. It's pretty engaged, so that's what I love about this show. So we do a stack ranking system between top, middle, and bottom third, and some people stack rank in their stack ranks.
Yes.
Max, what do you got for me?
Middle third, bottom of the middle. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but yeah.
Noah, what do you got for me?
Middle third, top of the middle. I like the all the itches, and we got to give it some points for being a hometown favorite. So yeah.
Brian, what do you got for me?
I got to put it top of the bottom. I really tuned out halfway through, and I was like, "This is just a generic show. It adds nothing."
All right. So I feel like I'm going to give this show 2 ratings. I'm going to give it a house renovation show rating, and I'm going to give it a reality show rating. As a house renovation show, I feel like this is a top third house reno show. Like, I feel like it kept me engaged more than I think any other house renovation show we've watched. I forget if we've done Step Brothers. That might be a better show, but like
so much room for activities.
Yeah, not Step Brothers, whatever it is. You know what I meant. Leave me alone. But in terms of like reality show in general, it's probably a middle third. Like, I think it was really entertaining for me to have VJ and another friend over, May, was here, and they were really into this house and talking about it, and it really kept me more engaged in the show. So if you're that kind of person, this show is great. But for me, about housing, like it also is kind of nice. It's local, so you can kind of be like, "Oh, I know where that is," or like, you know where that kind of is. So it definitely gets a notch above these other kind of shows. So I'm going to put it in the middle. And that tell us what you thought about it on X at Who Put This On.
Did you know one of the Property brothers is Stuppen Zoe Deschanel?
Stubben?
I think they're almost married, or they are married, or they're like legit.
I mean, talk about a cute couple.
I couldn't tell you which Property brother is which.
They both look exactly the same. What does it matter?
It's always twins, Max.
It's always twins. Are they mirror twins?
I think so.
I don't know. Are mirror twins identical, or an identical twins mirror? I don't understand.
They're fake as fuck.
Okay. All right. Let's do some shout outs. Brian, you have any shout outs?
Still working my way through Star Wars Rebels so I can actually watch Ahsoka. I think it is kind of worth it. It's entertaining enough that it's like side content. And
oh yeah, it's 100% side content.
Yeah. And it'll get into the background that I need for this show, hopefully. And I'll definitely follow up to indicate whether it's worth seeing.
Yeah. Keep us informed. Max and I have been watching the One Piece live action show on Netflix.
Oh, One Piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on like episode 200 of One Piece, the animated show. And Max is caught up.
Ish.
Wow.
You're not caught up.
I'm like episode 1000, which is, yeah, I know.
You're 75 episodes behind, Max. Yeah. So much to catch up on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the live action show is pretty good.
Hmm.
It's hard to tell if I would prefer the animated one or not because the pacing is way better. Like it's not like 18 episodes to like get Usopp or something.
Usopp.
But I think it's pretty fun. It's like a fun pirate adventure, and there isn't a whole lot like that. And Luffy is a great character, and you should definitely watch the live action version if you've never seen any One Piece.
Yeah, I'm shockingly enjoying it, but I don't know. I don't know how people who haven't seen the anime would feel about it. I have no idea.
I've heard good things from people that have not seen the anime.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, they finally made an adaptation that isn't garbage.
That's true. Also, Lower Decks is back. It's still really funny. And if you haven't seen the crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, that was really good too. Get on that Star Trek. Get on that Paramount Plus, Why not?
Is there a Lower Decks Mediterranean?
No, it's Lower Decks Down Under.
Oh, okay.
Max, do you have any shout outs other than One Piece?
Yeah. This week I have been watching season 1 of Foundation, which has nothing to do with the books. Not nothing, but it uses the first 50 pages of the book as like a skeleton and builds on it, and it's pretty decent sci-fi show.
Yeah, Empire and that show was so good.
Oh yeah, what they did, they introduced all sorts of interesting stuff around the Emperor in the show. Yeah.
Well, I think those are brought in from his other books. Like he did actually write an Empire book at some point.
I don't believe there's like a Dawn Dusk Day thing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's all made up or not.
But I think it's cool.
I've only read the original trilogy.
Yep, same. Let's see. Foundation. Last week I saw a comedy movie called Bottoms. Highly recommend. It's very funny.
Bottoms?
Yep. Yes.
Bottoms.
Starring Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh. Noah, you have any shout outs?
A few. So Netflix is a show called The Diplomat. Yeah, it was one season, and it's quite good. It definitely gets you on the edge of your seat, and you're like, "That's it! Like, give me more now, immediately." So yeah,
it was
that was
a really good series finale.
Yes, yeah, quite good.
Or a season finale.
C.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I want to give a shout out to Killing It on Peacock.
Peacock.
It's quite good. It has Craig Robinson, and it has this Australian comedian woman who's pretty funny.
Is that where I know her from? Was she on Taskmaster?
Maybe. She's one of these people where like you see her and you're like, I know you from somewhere. Then you look at her IMDb and you're like, maybe I don't. But
I definitely know her from somewhere.
She's on QI. I don't think she's on Taskmaster.
She's really enjoyable to watch, though. She's fantastic. But yeah, it's a really fun show. I highly recommend it. It's like easy to watch. It's vulgar. It's funny. It's great.
All right. That's it for us this week. You can tweet or tell us what you thought about this show on X at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.